The disciples did not know it was his farewell address. No one did, but it was. He knew he had just witnessed his final sunset. He knew death would come with the morning. So Jesus spoke about death. Here's how he began. In Gospel John 14, verses 1, 2, and 3. Jesus said, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God and trust in me. There are many rooms in my Father's house. I would not tell you this if it were not true. I am going there to prepare a place for you. I will come back." Jesus said, "I will come back and take you to be with me so that you may be where I am." Thank you, Jesus.
George, where are you? Okay, Matt, as everybody said, was very fun-loving, but George and I got something very special from him. We are both 21 again. He loved to go out to eat, and he loved to have a 21st birthday party. Jackie, you almost did, but I had foot surgery over the summer, and right after the surgery, he came and picked me up all the way from Killeen, and I lived in Rogers, which is a long drive. And he came and picked me up, and he got all of our friends together. We met down at the restaurant down here that he likes. And I just had the best time, and the next thing I know, they come out with their little sombrero and sopapillas, and this guy looks at me and he goes, "I hear you're 21. Matthew?" So June 7th was my 21st birthday again. And George, that's something we share. Thank you, Matt. We all love Matt. Just so y'all know, we all love Matt. Here in transportation, we just, like he said, his jokes were kind of not so tasteful sometimes, but they had their little double meaning. As I tell him, I said, "Matt, you know, gotta be careful." Well, they know I didn't mean it that way, but that was just him. I learned that's just how he was. That's just how he was, and you just had to know him. So, but that was the one thing, my 21st birthday. I love him for it. And June 7th will always be my 21st birthday.
Turn it on, baby.
Turn it on, baby. It's okay. Oh, no.
My name is Lincoln.
It's too loud. It's okay. It's okay. You got this. You got this. Hold it down here, sweetie.
And Matt would always be on it. And he always give me money, but he would always playing fight. When we see each other, he was always on my back. But we always been fighting, but playing. And this is Matt, and I'm here to say goodbye to Matt. And today I hope you get a great day from Matt. Game to me.
Oh.
Man, I gotta follow that. My name's Katie. I've been a friend of Matt's for a long time. Later on this evening, I'll get to meet you guys officially. I've known Matt since just after his brother had passed away, so it's been quite some time, and I know some of the family. I just wanted to share just a little quick thing about him. So as his sister said, he wasn't scared of anything. Just a memory that popped in my head was getting to know him. My oldest daughter became friends with Lexi, and I have 3 daughters, and he was very brave. He called me one day. He said, Lexi wants to have a sleepover. And I said, okay. And he was like, you know what? Bring them all. I said, hold on, you want me to bring you and 4 kids at your house by yourself for a sleepover? And he's like, yeah, why not? And so I said, okay. And he just loved having the kids. He was like a big kid himself. And so he had a sleepover with all 4 girls, and they did makeovers and did his nails, and he just ran with it and let them. He always had such a big heart, and he loved with everything he had. I was always there trying to show him support through friendships, through relationships. And he did. He never held it back. He would always just keep moving and just wanted to put forth everything he had. He's definitely going to be missed, and he's definitely loved. I hadn't turned around, but there is a little big town out here. I just want to say I'm sorry, and I give my love to you guys and friends and family, and together we can all come together and maybe get to know each other and keep Matt's memories and keep his spirit alive. But with that, I just want to say you're going to be missed, and definitely lots and lots of memories going through everybody's mind right now that some may not want to come up and share, but just know that together we'll always remember him and remember his laugh and funny jokes. Thank you.
I have anxiety too, so I'm trying to get through this. My name is Mindy. Matt was living with Troy and I for the last year.
You put the mic up to your mouth, we can hear you.
Huh?
You gotta put the mic closer, we can hear you.
Anyway, if it weren't for Matt, to be honest with you, I don't know if Troy and I would be together. He, just after I got divorced, he kind of pushed us together, introduced us, and when we started kind of getting to know each other, there was one day he actually locked Troy and I in my own car, took the keys out, and he locked us in the car, and he says, you're not coming out, because he knew the alarm would go off until you guys discuss your feelings with each other. And ever since that day, we've been together. And that was back when, I remember when Lexi was a year old. And we've known Matt ever since then. Troy was friends with Matt before that. And it's like I told my mom, I feel like I lost a brother more than I lost a friend, because I was closer to Matt. I could tell him anything. He was always there at night, so I could talk to him if I needed to. And it's been so hard because I haven't even been able to go to the back of my house since it happened, because I just can't. And it's just been rough, but my dogs still bark like he moves around the house. I have 2 dogs that they would bark and run underneath the bed, except for Mocha. She would try to bite his ankles. But it's just funny, and I miss him going through the house and telling him to shut up. And it's like, one of these days I wish he'd come back and do it, just so I could see him. But I loved him like a brother. He was always there. You know, we fought. Troy and him fought like brothers, but we still made up every day. Lexi would come over. She'd spend all of July with us. They would fight just like daughter and father would fight. But the next day they'd get up and they'd go do something together, and they'd come home just laughing and having a golf time. And then an hour later they'd begin fighting again over just little stuff. But it's the way the father and daughters do. But I love him and I miss him. And my house is so quiet without him. But it's all because of him that I'm where I'm at in my marriage. And I got a wonderful guy because of Matt. I owe everything to him. And I will really miss him. And I know Troy does too. Thank you.
So some of you have shared some sad memories, and we're a little sad now. So if anybody of you have ever been a boss to Matt, Matt could be a little bit of an HR nightmare. Okay, let's be honest. Now we're going to talk about the real Matt. Okay. So Matt was an amazing man, and I want to tell you, I was blessed enough to have a child that was had the same personality as Matt. You heard Matt before you ever saw him. You knew he was coming before he ever entered the room. And when he did come in the room, he lit up the entire environment like a Christmas tree every time. And also when you employed Matt, you had to have an open complaint department as well. Because at least once a week, somebody would be in your office offended by a short joke. Usually it was a lot of short jokes, okay? So I'm pretty short myself without these heels, and poor Jackie too was the brunt of it. He nearly ran over with a box one day, because here Matt is big, he's holding the box. He certainly can't see Jackie behind the box at all, and he said, well, Jackie, maybe you need a flag. But you know, to know Matt was to love Matt. And when you knew Matt in that capacity, you understood it. And you understood that it was all just, sometimes I think Matt's sole existence was to make people smile and to bring joy to other people's lives. And that's what he did every single day. It was very rare you saw Matt having a bad day. There's only one that I can remember in the 2 times that he's worked for me in all the years that I've known Matt. He was just a wonderful, fun person. And I think that one of the best ways that we as his friends and family can honor his memory is to continue to love one another the way that he loved other people. Because that's who Matt was. Matt was love. He was grace. He was mercy. He showed all of those things to all of us every single day. And sometimes we didn't have as much with him, but then we had that HR conversation and we moved on until the next week when it would repeat again. So, but to know him was truly to love him. And when you heard Angela say and other people say that, we tell people up here at Temple ISD Transportation, we are a family. And you do hear people tell each other up here all the time, I love you, when they're walking out the door, love y'all. That's common here. Because that's what we do here. We do family. And that's why Matt was such a perfect fit for our department, because Matt did family. And Matt understood unconditional love. And he understood joy and happiness. And he brought that to all of us. And that first Friday of school was a bad day for all of us. It really was. It had been a horrible week to boot. And then to end it in that way, the way that we did on Friday. So I will tell you, we do our best to honor his memory here by continuing to talk about him and tell funny stories and just to share what he meant to us. And I want to talk to you, Corey. I know it might have been a short time, but I know I've told you this in text message, but I think it's worth everyone hearing. There were 2 things that Matt talked about all the time, and it was Lexi and Corey. And if you know Matt and you're Facebook friends with Matt, Matt lived his life on Facebook too. So if Lex and Matt went to Corpus Christi, you knew it. If they went to the ice cream museum, you knew it. If they were getting pedicures, you knew it. And it was the same way when Corey entered the picture too. And every Monday morning, he'd come and he'd bring his phone and put his phone, hey, look, did you see this? You see this new picture of Corey? Look at this. I'm like, Matt, yes, we all saw it on Facebook. He said, but I got some more. And he would want to share. And his love for you was so incredibly deep. And before the first time any of us ever met Corey, we kept saying, when are we going to get to meet her, Matt? You know we have to approve. When are we going to get to meet her? She had already been technically approved quite some time ago, just because of the joy that she added to Matt's life. And he was a Christmas tree before, but he was like a singing Christmas tree after you came along. So never ever doubt the depth of that man's love for you. And we're here for you. And I've told you that before, but we're here. We've been here. We're here today, tomorrow, and for the long journey ahead. We love you, and you as well, Lexi.
Matt. I refer to him a lot. But I tell you what, I remember when he was here the first time too. He's this ball of energy and spirit. Do you want a hearing aid?
No. That's hard to believe.
Is this close enough?
Chew on it a little bit.
Huh?
Chew on it a little bit.
No, that's too big. Okay, Matt, he was a pain in my backside at times. He would make me mad. But he knew it, and he'd turn around and he'd give me the biggest bear hug. And you could not resist to be happy again. And yeah, he'd play some good stuff on me too. Like she said, I need a flag. And I'm kind of a fast walker. I'd be darned if he didn't keep up with me. He said, see, you didn't think a fat man could walk as fast as you, did you? Because I used to tease him and said, boy, I could run circles around you. But one thing about Matt is he never wanted to eat alone. And when we are on our downtime, and that's when I stay here at the yard. I want to go in my truck. I want to take me a nap. Matt come hauling ass, excuse my French, right over to my truck, laying on the horn. Jackie, come eat with me. I don't want to eat alone. Okay, I love you, man. I'll go. And that was Matt, and oh my God, I feel so sorry for the waitresses when we were around because he was chaotic in so many ways. But there was never a dull moment. You'd be laughing and crying at the same time. I always told him, and I always will, I love you, man, and it ain't never gonna change. And Lexi, you are a piece of our family, whether you like it or not. We love you too.
My name's Kent Moore. Met back in '05, driving a school bus. We'd hold it closer. And like I said, we've gotten to be really good friends. And like I said, I'd never have a conversation with him that he didn't mention Lexi and everything that he'd done. And he always sent me videos and pictures and everything of what they were doing, no matter what it was and stuff. And if anybody's listened to his voicemail when you call him, I would love to have that on tape. Because only Matt could come up with something like that. Absolutely. And like I said, we're both OTR drivers. Drove school bus for about 2.5 years. Spent a lot of time with him, and he's been out my place. We fixed fence and everything. And you're right, Matt loved to eat, and I do too. And I would meet him up here, and have lunch because he didn't want to drive all the way back to clean and stuff. And we had plans for the following Monday after this to meet and have lunch and stuff. And I told Matt, I said, it's always my treat. You just remember that. But like I said, Matt was just so cheerful and just too bad all of us can't be as cheerful as he was. He always had something good to say. I mean, we just, like I said, remember all the jokes and stuff, you know, but like I said, Matt was always making sure everybody else is okay, you know, and like I said, him and I spent a lot of time together. I'd be out on the road going to California, and he'd call me and said, you must be on the road. And I went, yep. He said, wait, got time? I said, that's all I got. And we would talk for hours and stuff just on the phone and stuff, you know. And like I said, he bought the Cadillac. I was with him the night he bought the Cadillac, and took it to a mechanic to have some other stuff done to it. And then he drove the big Excursion. That's like a tank on rubber wheels and stuff. But he loved that thing. He done all kinds of little tricks to it and stuff. And I said, well, when I get to do mine, I said, maybe I'll have you come down and give me a hand and stuff. But Matt was just so cheerful. Like I said, just wish that everybody could have his attitude and stuff, you know. And like I said, you never knew if you ever had a bad day, because like I said, and like I said, I've been around him all the way since 05, and like I said, there'd be different things that bother him and stuff, you know, but we would talk about different situations and stuff. But I'll tell you what, nothing was ever talked. We didn't talk about Lexi. I mean, I've known her since she was a bitty baby. And he just loved doing things with her and stuff, you know. And he would call and said, you want to join us? There were times I'd join him and stuff, you know, but Matt's going to be missed majorly. I still have a hard time getting by it, because we were really close friends. But I know Matt's looking down and said, drawing a pretty good crowd today. Well, thank you, folks. And like I said, I can't say enough good about Matt. Matt was my bed. We were friends for a long time.
Yeah.
Hi. I don't do crowds very well. It's one of the things I don't do, and it almost stopped me from coming here, and I'm really glad it didn't. I'm dispatcher for Temple ISD, so a lot of the people I see every day are I call them my drivers. Even though I'm probably the youngest person on the yard, -1, they're my drivers. So that Friday, I was, you know, checking off my people, looking at them, smiling, you know, trying to bring that light. And then I noticed he wasn't there, and that kind of broke me, because Matt's never late, and he always calls me if he is. Matt knew I was struggling. I've been struggling for a little while, and he always tried to make me feel better. He always did something to try to make me feel better, and it broke my heart. You know, it's like losing a dad, because I see everybody here as my family, and you know, being the youngest here, it's like having a bunch of extra mom and dads, you know. But we really did love him. We loved seeing him. He really did light up everybody's world. And I'm hoping that I can bring as much happiness as he used to bring to everybody. Because, you know, I get to see everybody's face bright and early in the morning. And I really hope that the love and the support that he's shown everybody else can show to everybody else, because that's really important in our lives. And Lexi, I had one of the biggest scares in my life, and I don't know what you're going through. So my heart broke because my daddy was taken away in an ambulance, and I could only imagine what the outcome would have been. So I know your heart is breaking, because my heart broke that day. So just know that everybody here is going to love you and support you no matter what. And we're here. And we got to be a family. you.